Hello guys, welcome to the stream. I apologies for the delay. But welcome. Here we are, game week 34. Boo Boo, if you're still in the chat, good luck to you, sir. But how are we all doing? How are we doing, guys? As we can see on screen, I have done the Chilwell to Luke Shaw move. Am I confident about it? Probably not, to be honest. I think I'm massively missing out on Trent. I've got pure FOMO on those Liverpool wing-backs, but I can't afford it. So here we are. How are we doing, Junie Gaming? Welcome. Very well, thank you, mate. Had a very, very busy morning this morning. I've got a bit of a personal garden project going on at my house. So, yeah, was just doing a bit of labouring this morning. Yeah, I'm very well. Seth, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm debating Kepa to Edison for a -4. I think I probably will do that. It doesn't really price me out of any future moves anyway, going for a bit more of an expensive goalkeeper, and I get the extra double. And I just don't trust Chelsea in terms of their double game week anyway. What a game week. You got a decent green arrow. Very well done, mate. Mine was horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. About a 30k drop for me. Hello, Daniel. Here he is, the man of the moment. I rewatched my stream back and I didn't realise what you did, my friend. I'm not going to repeat it, but that Roma player, that was cheeky. That was smooth. Well done, mate. Well done. Had a terrible week. You dropped from 250 to 390k. Oh, Seth, mate, I feel your pain. It was a bit of a mixed game week. How we doing, Tanoki? Welcome to the stream. George, how we doing? FPL Seb. Hi, Dan. How you doing? So your team is Raya, Trippier, Trent, Stones, Grealish, Salah, Matoma, March, Solanke, Haaland and Watkins. You're thinking -8 to do Kepa to De Gea, Martinelli to Rashi and Castagna to Estepinian. I mean, that's possible. You've already got the City defence. Do I think it's worth a -8? There's a lot of hits flying around this week. A lot of hits. But it looks good. Thanks, mate. Enjoyed that. I bet you did, mate. I literally it completely skimmed over my head because I was just reading things out loud over and over again. And then only when I watched it back, I was like, that cheeky little shit. How we doing, Sport Cat? Random transfer to Gakpo worked. You can't believe it. I know, mate. And a cheeky little Trent assist as well with that. Sorry, my glasses are steamed up. A cheeky little Trent assist. Can't argue with that, can we at all? How we doing, Amar? Haven't seen you for a while, mate. Welcome to the stream, sir. Hope you're doing well. 38 points from 50k with 3 double game weeks seems doable. I agree. Couldn't agree more, mate. I think it's well within reach for you. Well within reach. Plus 10k rise for George. Isak assist not being given to him cost me a bigger rise. Indeed, that was a bit... I don't understand that. I really don't understand that. The rules with FPL seem a bit loose this year, to be honest, in terms of assists. But here we go. You did beat Sarah in the cup by 1 point. Wow. Stone's your hero. Nice one. I'm already out of my own mini league cup, by the way. So none of you have got the joy of beating me because someone else already has. Jota or Robertson on a free hit. That's a close call, my friend. I think if you're going to look for consistency in terms of minutes, then I would say Robertson. I guess for me, though, Amar, it's not Jota versus Robertson directly, right? There's got to be combinations. So what combinations are you looking at? So is it like Jota and a cheap defender or Robertson and a cheap striker? What's the options? Robertson hasn't got 2 clean sheets since you sold him, but he's got 2 assists. Yeah, indeed. Missed on the Isak assist too. Very unfair. I can't agree more, Amar. I just think the rules aren't consistent. You know, Kane had a shot on target, gets the assist for Porro's goal, and then Isak. I wouldn't necessarily call it a shot because it was kind of a cross, right? That then sort of landed to Murphy's feet. But I don't know. I think it should have been given personally. You went out because of Isak not getting the assist, mate. That sucks. But like I say, the cup's only a bit of fun anyway, right? There's nothing there, to be honest. There's no crown, no prize for the victor. Can you still make changes to your team whilst you've activated your free hit? Of course you can, mate. All the way up until the deadline. How are we doing, Dan and everyone? Very well, sir. Welcome back to the stream, Boo Boo. Yeah, I think there's... Overall, I think there could be a few hits flying around this week, but I think most active managers will probably be looking at a -4. I mean, -8. Seb, absolutely going back to your team. It's possible. I'm not sure on the De Gea situation. Who's your backup goalkeeper? I've forgotten. Raya. See, I think if you can just play Raya, you don't need to go De Gea for that extra -4, in my opinion. Do I think Jota will start both games from Sportcat? I don't think he'll start both games, no. But at the end of the day, for me, I think if we can get 120 to 170 minutes from him across both games, I'm happy enough with that. Would I have hesitated to bring him in if I didn't bring him in last week? Maybe. But then I may have looked at De Bruyne, right, as a slight differential over Salah. Probably not because of his knock, but there would have been different options. Hello, Mr. Blanky. How are we doing? Should you sell Kepa? Perhaps bring in Steele. I think selling Kepa is fine because I think everybody's sick of Chelsea now in terms of their assets, right? But Steele, for me, is just a rotation risk. He is under De Zerbi getting the starts, but I mean, that 10-pointer was amazing, right, with the penalty save, but that's not going to happen every week. And also, there could be rotation with Sanchez. So the games are thick and fast for Brighton. So I just say go in with it with an open mind that as long as you've got a backup keeper in place in case Steele's bench, then I don't mind that. Alisson, Trippier, Zuma and Solanke bench boost. Don't mind that at all. That's pretty strong. I mean, look, you've got Zuma's double. Okay, it's not ideal, but he could still get an attacking return in one of the games that maybe a clean sheet wipeout happens. Trippier, obviously, I think, I think it was Jedi Stew that commented, Newcastle scored 10 goals in the past 2 game weeks, and Trippier has got no attacking return from those 10. Then there's 10 goals. I don't think that's going to happen very regularly. So I think he's great to bench boost. And Solanke, look, Bournemouth have got a reasonable fixture. I would go for it, yes. If there's no other obvious way to do it, then fine. George, did Saka and Tarko to Trent and Rashford? Lovely upgrades, mate. Absolutely love that. So what do I think about Castagna or Estu? Would I prefer Luke Shaw? If you're going to have De Gea, I don't think double Man U defence is that good. I agree. I don't know if I would go double up on United defence at the moment, unless you wanted budget strikers or you were on a free hit. The thing is with Luke Shaw is it's interesting because he's going to probably play at centre-back. My logic with it is that out of the two of him versus Van Dijk, if I would have spent all my 6.6 million, is that I think Luke Shaw at left centre-back still offers more attacking threat than what Van Dijk does. So, and at a 1.5 million discount, essentially. So that's why I went for Luke Shaw, but that's for my team. So I'm not necessarily sure I would say, yes, go for Luke Shaw over De Gea, but I think Castagna to Estepinian makes sense. I think I like Brighton's first fixture as opposed to United's, if I'm honest. Great stream, thanks, Dan. No worries, Amar. No worries. Feel free to, like I say, throw in them suggestions of Jota or Robertson. What's the combination, and I'll see what I can give you. Already done Martinelli to Rashi. I think that's a good move. Sportcat, Gakpo or Jota. If you do Gakpo, you can afford Ederson instead of Steele. I think then I would probably hold Gakpo and then go Ederson, if I'm honest. Spaghetti and Beans, what a name. Good morning, mate. Is Kepa to Ederson worth it for a -4? That's what I'm debating at the moment, to be honest, for my own team. I think I'm probably going to end up doing it, and I'll say yes. Is Salah essential from Sportcat? I don't necessarily think he's essential, but I think he's pretty much the most consistent of the Liverpool front three. I don't think they're relying on him as much for attacking returns now because they've got that Gakpo, they've got Nunez. He isn't necessarily going to get as many returns as before in previous seasons, but I still think he could explode at any point like we saw against United in that 7-0. 21 points is a doable thing for him in a single game week, let alone a double. Junior Gaming, would you go for a -8 to get Konate for Trent or Ben White to Shaw? Which would I prefer, bearing in mind Konate and White are still in the team? Would I go for a -8 to get Konate for Trent? I mean, the interesting thing is with Trent is that the assists, that Gakpo one was a bit fortunate, let's face it. There's not always going to be assists coming from shots outside the box from him. He does look really, really good, but there's definite FOMO for TAA. Obviously, I haven't got any Liverpool defender, so maybe Konate is just enough. It just depends on his fitness. Has he been past fit? Maybe you don't take the minus at all because it's then difficult to recover if Liverpool concede. Should you sell Martinelli or Isak, considering he might be getting limited minutes in the upcoming fixtures? See, the thing is with Martinelli is that, like, who can you go to? If you're going to sell him for Rashford, I don't mind that. But I think if you've got Saka, I'd prefer for you to sell Saka and keep Martinelli because he's such a budget option. And Arsenal's fixtures do turn in 36, I think, right? They've got 2 good fixtures at the back end of the season. I think Isak, even with limited minutes, he's got the double game week in 36, so I just think you hold him. I don't think you sell him. How are we doing, Harry? Welcome to the stream, mate. Is it worth taking a -8 for Salah to KDB, Elise to Rashford, and Chilwell to TAA? I don't think the Salah to KDB is necessary, to be honest. KDB probably doesn't get 180 minutes. He might get 120, but he might get less than that. So I'm not sure I agree with that. Elise to Rashford and Chilwell to TAA as a -4, if you can afford that. I don't mind that, Harry. Bench 1, Martinelli, Watkins or Isak. I'm going to go with Watkins on that one. Konate to Trent, sorry. Yeah, so if you do Konate to Trent, like I say, I just think it's not 100% necessary. Unless you really think that Trent's going to explode in terms of attacking returns. How are we doing, Jack? Welcome to the stream, mate. You're on a wild card and choosing between Salah and De Bruyne. I think it's close. I think I'm edging slightly towards Salah just because KDB, he's got that knock. City's fixtures are very congested with Real Madrid coming up as well. He might get a little bit rested to some degree. So I think I would go Salah. You might go Steele for a bit of a differential. De Bruyne or Grealish, sorry for all the questions. Mate, that's what I'm here for. You rate Steele, best pick on your wild card. I don't rate either City mids or rotation risk. Fair enough. So I think Steele is interesting because, yes, De Zerbi's put a lot of faith on him and said, yes, he is the better of the 2 goalkeepers in terms of how Brighton are playing at the moment. But I don't think Sanchez put a bad performance in on the FA Cup semi-final. FA Cup semi-final. Let's not say that he's 100% nailed. I think he's definitely a little bit of a risk for me still. So you've already done a -4. Only thing is to hire him for a -8 or just play Raya. I think he's okay for this week. I think Raya's fine for this week as well, Seb, if I'm honest. I don't think you need to do that as part of a -8. I think you can probably just do the -4. De Gea is better 35 to 38. I mean, you do get an extra double game week, I suppose, in De Gea because you get 34 as a double and you'll get 36, is it? Or 37 that we're doubling? 37. Would I say a Brighton mid is needed, or should I start Grealish over them? Problem is, if you do that, you'll have to go for Steele. Would I say a Brighton mid is needed? I do like them. I mean, you're on a free hit, though. So for me, it's like you don't need to have a double up on them. You can just have one. Amar, you're on a free hit. You're currently 3-5-2 with Haaland and Jota up top. Fearing Jota's minutes, you can sell Jota for a cheap bench striker and buy Robertson for one of your bench defenders and play a 4-5-1. Yeah, see, I think I prefer the 4-5-1 if I'm honest on a free hit. Again, I agree with you on Jota's minutes. I know he's in my team, but I did the move last week, Amar. So I think I probably wouldn't do it on this week. Couldn't believe it. Hope you're well, mate. Yeah, it was a good one, Daniel. Would you take a -8 to do Ake and Fabianski out for Ederson and Shah Botman or Pope and Akanji Diaz? Also, is Jota in for Tony worth it? Okay, multiple questions, I suppose. Would I take a -8 to do Ake and Fabianski out for Ederson and Share Botman? I think I like the Ederson and Share or Botman combination more, if I'm honest, because of Ederson's minutes. Pope and Akanji to Diaz, no, I don't think that's worth it because of rotation. Jota in for Tony, worth it for a hit? I don't know. See, now Brentford have played 32 matches. We don't get a ban, right, for Tony if he gets a yellow card. There's no 2-match ban between now and the end of the season, and he is very consistent. It's a very close call, that one. Let me think about it. -12 for Martinelli to Grealish, or not ideal? I'm not sure. Again, Grealish is one of those... He's a midfielder that can get rotated. I'm actually gutted that he's played so many minutes and then Foden's back. Like, it's just... This is the point where I wanted him at the most, I suppose, and I feel like he could get rested midweek. So I'm not sure the extra -4 is worth it. Do you need to get Salah? My midfield is Greenish, Mac 10, March, Bruno, Rashford. Also start Shaw, Trippier or Tony this week. I'd probably start Shaw, Trippier or Tony. I mean, you've got to start Shaw there, haven't you? Double game weeker. I can't say you've got to start a single game weeker over him. As for Salah in the midfield, because you've gone for Bruno, I guess no. Like, you're just punting on the fact that he's going to have more returns than Salah. If you've got the money to do it, I like Salah over Fernandes, if I'm honest. Martial will start one of the double, potentially, yes. Pick 2 out of the following for me to start. Grealish, De Bruyne, any Brighton mid. I think in that scenario, maybe you go Grealish and a Brighton mid then. Dalot or Shaw. Dallow's got the right attacking numbers, to be honest, but I just think that he's a possible rotation to some degree. Not to say that he won't get probably at least 60 minutes in both games, but between him, Wan-Bissaka and Malacia, there seems to be a bit of rotation with substitutions, whereas Shaw, I think he's the only one that can play centre-back comfortably, so I think he gets the full minutes. Could work out in your favour though, Seth, to be honest. If we concede post 60 minutes and they've already been substituted, then Dalot or Wan-Bissaka are also very good options. George, your team still Trips, Castagna, Trent, Martinelli, Gakpo, Grealish, Matoma, Rashi, Isak, Haaland, bench Rayad, Watkins, Gahey, Moreno. Loving it. What a team, mate. Really strong. Is Grealish a rotation risk? I do think he is now because of the City fixtures. There's just so many. So let's say Raya gets a clean sheet and 6 saves and 2 or 3 bonus. This would be the best thing that could happen. So he would get 10 or 11 points. I think De Gea could score 7 or 11 points too. Exactly. Which is why I'm saying a -4 for him doesn't make sense just for this week. You have to think that you're going to be playing De Gea in the next double as well, which has kind of been my logic about getting rid of Chilwell for sure. It's not necessarily this week that I want to target. It's also the extra double. So you have to look at it over the full amount of fixtures, not just this week in isolation. Why am I starting Kepa over Raya? Because I'm looking to do a Kepa to Ederson move. So my team is just set up in that way, ready for the transfer if I decide to do it. Otherwise, I would be starting Raya. Best captain punt, you want to climb the FPL Link Mini League rank. I think if you want to take a punt, then you probably go for someone like Rashford, to be honest. I honestly think that like if you go Rashford or Fernandes in your team, then that's a big captain punt, in my opinion. Ben White to Shaw for a -8. I guess, again, it's the same logic for what I just said to FPL Seb, in the sense that if you think that it's not just this game week that's going to get you the return of the -4, it's 2 to 3 weeks' time when we've got the additional double, then yes, I don't mind that, I suppose. Morning, Jan. Welcome to the stream, mate. The top of the table. As an Estepinian owner, you'll probably get Ederson, indeed. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. But you're tempted to go Steele and Stones Diaz for extra hit. Both options great on bonus. Think this combo could score 4 points more until 38. Interesting. I mean, personally, I'm on the Ederson Estepinian combo, but again, it's the conversation is about Steele. Does he play every game between now and 38? I'm not so sure he does. So when we talk about 4 extra points until 38, is that really the case? That's only if Steele plays all the time. Is Share worth it, the extra money over Botman? He's got more attacking threat. Absolutely. I'm not sure he's worth the extra. It just depends on your future plans. Like if your budget is required to make moves later down the line, then always go for the cheaper option. But Botman is a 6-point ceiling, in my opinion. We've hardly ever seen him score more than that. How are we doing, Amit? Welcome to the stream, mate. I hope you're doing good. What are you doing with Jota? Well, I had him in my team from last week when I took a -4 for Harry Kane. So I've already kind of screwed myself in that sense. I think, to be honest, I say that Jota's still got potential to get attacking returns in these games. It's just about his minutes. Probably one of the worst moves I've made overall, to be honest. If it doesn't pay off this week, then I can consider it one of the worst moves. Sebwa, if you do a -12, but you think of it as a 3 -4s, is that less bad? Asking for a friend. I guess you could. I guess you could shape it that way. Whatever makes you feel better about it, I guess, mate. Tanoki, Gabriel to Robbo for a -4 to play Robbo over Botman. Gabriel to Robbo for a -4 to play Robbo over Botman. I think I like that move, yes. I think I do. If Diaz, Stones and Steele start every game, then they are arguably better on bonus than Ederson, Estepinian, respectively. That I can agree with, yes. But again, it's that if all of them start. And Stones, I think he's going to be quite essential to the Champions League fixture. So I'm a bit iffy on him starting. And then the same for Steele. So that's where I think the risk is. Estepinian attacking threat is also a bit overrated, yeah. I agree. I definitely bought into the hype for him in terms of his data, I'm not going to lie, and he's basically got me nothing since I've had him in the team, really. You've already told me, mate, but when you have a huge green arrow, you've stayed in the same position in my mini league. But then when I have a red arrow over, I have a green arrow in yours. Mental, yeah. It seems to work polar opposites with me. De Gea or Sanchez? De Gea out of those two, mate, I think. Yeah, but the question is the -4, tough choice. We'll put it this way. The -4 may become a net 0 in that scenario, though, right? Because Gabriel doesn't have a double game week. Botman doesn't have a double game week. So even if, let's say, Robbo got clean sheet Gabriel Botman also got a clean sheet. No attacking returns, 6 points in the first match. Then he gets a clean sheet wipeout in the second match, only scoring you 2 points. The -4 effectively is nearly nullified, right? It's not too... And the thing is as well is that like the attacking threat is probably going to be there for Robbo. So I say clean sheet wipeout and he's going to score you 8 points versus the other 6 I think he's going to get more than that. Is Ake still injured? I think so, Seth. News on Jota? I don't think there is any news other than the fact that he didn't train, as far as I know. I don't think there was any pictures of him training, and I already had him in my team. So I just have to play him. Mystical, how much is in the bank for my team? So in my team at the moment, I think 1.5 million. Yes, so I'm at 103.5 total team value, 1.5 million in the bank. So it gives me easily enough money to be able to do Kepa to Ederson. And I'm probably looking at removing Watkins at some point for Isak or Wilson, something like that in terms of the game week 36 double for Newcastle. So first 11, Mr. Blanky, Kepa, Trippier, Shaw, Trent, Salah, Nelly, Rashi, Matoma, March, Isak, Haaland captain. You're benching Forster, Ben White, Botman and Greenwood. Any other recommendations? Got a transfer to kill with 0.5 in the bank. I think you've covered quite a lot of individuals there. You could potentially go... Could you go Kepa to De Gea if you wanted for those extra that extra double game week this week? If that's a free transfer as well, I don't hate that. How are we doing, HN2000? Welcome to the stream, mate. You don't rate the clean sheet, you think attacking return. Okay, well, if we're looking at just attacking returns alone, then Robbo's pretty much top of the XGI list, other than Trent. So you think you'll still stick with Jota rather than Robbo. You don't trust Liverpool defence. Jota has a higher ceiling even if he plays 90 over the 2 legs. Let's take risks and enjoy the remaining few games. Well, I took that approach last week, right? I said I'll try and attack the game week with a -4, and I ended up flopping. So I hope it doesn't work out that way for you this week, Amar. You've done Ederson and Sherin for Fab and Ake for a -4. Solid moves, I think, overall. Yanagler, yes, still will probably continue to annoy and score well, but also think Sanchez will get a game with all the doubles. Maybe Estepinian can score and Eder can save a pen. Exactly. I mean, it's all if, buts and maybes, right? It's very difficult to say 4 points more between now and 38 on a particular combo. But I do think I trust the Ederson Estepinian, let's say, minimal rotation risk as opposed to Stones and Steele. I just think I prefer that combination. You think you do it. I agree, Tanoki. I genuinely do. Even if you take clean sheets away from it and you just go on attacking returns, I think your -4 gets returned as a minimum. It's just now if you should do Jota in for Tony for another -4. I mean, as Amar said, mate, that's risk territory, Daniel. That is risk territory. Total will be a -8 over these 2 game weeks. I mean, that'll be the same for me if I do the Ederson move, a -8. It hasn't worked out yet, but maybe it does later on. You're hoping Zuma scores a bullet header. You don't want to remove him for a -4? No, I think if I had to start him, and I didn't want to... Because and essentially, yes, the double is not the best. But the stranger things have happened. Who knows? Who knows? Would I do Watkins to Greenwood, Martinelli to Bruno, or Watkins to Tony? Your present 8 is Salah, Mitoma, March, Rashi, Martinelli, Haaland, Jota and Watkins. Would I do Watkins to Greenwood, Martinelli to Bruno? I mean, in terms of attacking the game, is that for a -4, Amit? Because for attacking the game week, you've got to expect that Bruno then gets the returns on his own for the -4 because Greenwood's going to be a bench option. So if that's for a -4, I'm not sure. Watkins to Tony, maybe. But I think Watkins could get something against United. I'm just benching him because I've got no other option, really. I've got literally a front 7 that are all doubling. So I think it depends on the minors for you. Armin, hi Dan, how's the stream going? Yeah, pretty well. We've had the consistent around sort of, 12 to 16 viewers. So it's been solid. Hopefully it's been useful for people. I never really ask. I just straight into the stream, mate. Quick fire questions. You know how we do. This is what we do. With all the game, it's definitely worth a debate. The shift to get the 8, to get the right City Brighton defence, but X-Mins is king. Absolutely. The thing is as well, towards the back end of the season, we could even use the narrative that if City have gone and won the title by game week 37, Ederson might get rested in game week 38 or something anyway, right? So we're talking about Ederson being completely solid and nailed. But what happens if City are clear by 7-8 points and they've won the title by game week 37? You know, there's so many narratives that you could put together. I just think with the data we've got and the sort of how close the title race is, I just think Ederson Estepinian makes the most sense. But who knows, mate? It's just one big shrug with FPL, isn't it? Just if whatever happens, happens. Only way you can get Salah in for a -8, it would be Bruno out and Raya for a cheap goalkeeper. Not worth. I don't think that's worth, mate. You can't take Bruno out ahead of a double game week just to get Salah. I think they might match in terms of output. Could be 5 points, 6 points difference, maybe 10 points difference. But was it really worth the -4 to swap in? Probably not. Only way you... is it worth selling Trent for Shaw for a -4? No, you don't sell Trent. I don't think Mystical. Oh, so is it worth selling Shaw for Trent for a -4? Is there any other routes that you can get to Trent with? Because I think selling a doubler for a doubler, I'm not too certain on that. I've just brought Shaw in. Do I think you should start White or Botman? Do I think you should start White or Botman? To be honest, both teams are playing both defenders are playing teams that can't score many goals. So Southampton aren't scoring many goals, Chelsea aren't scoring many goals. Both home fixtures. I think I'd start Ben White for the attacking returns, mate. Close, but I think it's White. Junie, Gaming, Kanati, good differential this week. I think if he gets both games and he keeps clean sheets, then I wouldn't necessarily say he's a differential because I guess most people have got Trent and Robbo, right? But like me, I haven't got any Liverpool defenders, so that could be massive. If he scores, then that's a different story. Then yes, I would say he's a massive differential. So you think you can wait with the De Gea move? Thanks, Dan. By the way, I think for the last 10 game weeks, you've got 9 greens, so you would like that to continue. In talking about second chance because my overall is so bad. Yeah, but I mean, look, if you get the green arrows, however they come, it's just that's it, mate. You've got to ride them. Got to ride those green arrows, boys. Ortega will probably play a game. Let's hope the case he plays the final because he played all cup games. Indeed, that's exactly what I said in my team selection. I said I think we'd probably see Ortega come in because it's after the season's closed. The only thing I'd say is different to that is that if they win the Champions League and they win the Prem, they've got a chance of winning the treble. And would you really put Ortega in for Ederson based on that? I don't know, that's close. That's a big call from Pep if he does that. Do transfers during a free hit affect team value on the following game week? No, they don't, Emma. Whatever your team value is, in terms of whatever price rises have happened and whatever price falls have happened, it doesn't make a difference. It's just whatever team you get back in game week 35 will be the essentially the value that it is. I did a free hit guide to kind of maybe explain it a little bit better than I just did. That was pretty poor, but yeah, it stays the same. You're doing Jota in for Tony because it looks better, full of team of double game week players. Why not, Daniel? Go for it. Take the risk. Thanks, Dan. It was for a -4. You want to do something crazy. Watkins to Alvarez. I mean, worth a punt. Why not? It's just about the third City asset, though. Like, if you've already got a City mid and you've got Haaland, no doubt. Maybe you've got Ederson, maybe you've got Stones. Do you want Alvarez as your third City asset? Because it will probably be in your team between now and the end of the season. Otherwise, you're going to have to take another -4 to remove him. So that's my only concern with that. Can I help you with a way to get Trent into the team? You're open to a -4, -8. ID is 86808. I'll try to, Seth, if I can. 18 viewers with questions flying through. I'll see what I can do for you, mate. Your heart is telling you to play Trippier over Isak, but my head is telling me something else. I think I'd go Trippier over Isak still. Luke Shaw looks like prime Maldini at left centre-back. Mate, you're telling me. Brought him in. Got to be done. Armin, you went from Saka to Rashford and Maddison to Salah for a -4. I rate that fully. Well done. Looking to really attack this game week with lots of doublers. Fantastic. Sorry, you think you're going to have to leave to play football, so your team, Raya, Trips, Trent, Stones, I think they make that team look absolutely great. You're locked in as well. Good luck with the stream, mate, and good luck with the stream. Good luck with the game week, mate, and I'll see you soon. What would be a better duo this week, Trent and Ben White or Konate and Shaw? I'm going to say Trent and Ben White. That's like it's so abusive to United, and I've just brought Shaw in, but I think I like Trent and Ben White more. You went from the top 30k to top 370k. You triple captain Haaland this week and using your bench boost in game week 37 to keep your hopes up. Amar, I mean, look, that's a massive red arrow. 340k red arrow. That's absolutely, I think that's the biggest one I've seen. What happened there? There must have been so many things that went. I thought my week was crap. Like, there's definitely a way of recovering. 100%, there's got to be a way of recovering with 2 chips left. Is Robertson worth buying? Mystical? Yeah, I think he is, if you can afford him. Hi, Abdullah. Welcome. Bad game week for you. Yeah, same for me, bud. Would I start White, Moreno, or Rico Henry? Start White, Moreno, or Rico Henry? Ben White. Ben White. Got 60 points, 15s off Mings. Lovely. More than me, mate. I got 53 with a -4, so I got 49. Rubbish. Kane to Greenwood, Saka to Salah, Chilwell to Trent for a -4, or Saka to Bruno, Chilwell to Shaw for free. Saka to Salah, Chilwell to Trent, and Kane to Greenwood. So you'll have Salah and Trent basically playing versus Bruno, Shaw. It's basically back in Lazio. It's who do you back, really? Do you back Liverpool or do you back United for the double? I mean, Liverpool got 2 home fixtures, so I think Salah and Trent makes more sense. Bruno's just not returning from an FPL point of view. That's my problem with him. He looks so good and he's creating so many chances, but they're just not. It's not happening for him. You captained Salah last week. Oh my God. And you're still backing him again, Abdullah. Wow. And you got 60 points after captaining him. That's madness, mate. City team news will be stressful next week again. Would you be tempted like Mahrez starts and Grealish benched? You're doing Watkins to Alvarez very likely if we get news. Just 1 week then to Isak. Yeah, I mean, it depends on team for me. I don't mind that move because if you can take the punt on Alvarez, I think he gets attacking returns. Absolutely. He's involved when he's substituted on a lot, right? And when he starts, he seems to be involved in at least one thing. So I don't mind that. It's very luxury though, isn't it? To go from Watkins to Alvarez to Isak. It's dependent on the team. You only have Haaland as a City asset. Alvarez will become Isak in game week 35. Then I don't actually mind that, Amit. As we just spoke about there with Jan Aigner, I think that works. Abdullah, last week moves really cost you rank at one point after the Aston Villa game. You came in the top 500k, and then Haaland scored and assisted and got a 250k red arrow. That's why I don't check rank midweek a lot of the time. I just try to resist checking what the rank looks like until everything's finished. 340k red arrow is brutal. It certainly is, mate. We're sharing the same pain, Dan. Got in Jota last week and he missed an absolute sitter and got subbed off early with a knock. Indeed, it's just shocking. It's just on a different game week or a different... If that goal went in, we're talking... It's a completely different game week for both of us last week. But look, it is what it is. I chose double Chelsea defence over Brentford defenders. Silly moves. But I think as well, I'm going to be honest, that shows a little bit of my inexperience, I suppose, being within the top 100k. The best finish I've had is a 94k, and I'm not consistent with it. Like, that's the point of not just this channel, but also, I don't know, I've done a lot more research this season into which players I should buy, and I think that I just let the ball drop a little bit last week. It's not going to happen every week, but I'll just take the loss. You're not getting Bruno was a lucky break for you. Yeah, indeed. That hit in the bar, oh my God, crazy. Last week you did Kane and Maddison to Salah and Isak, and it cost you about 20 points. Well, I mean, look, I did Kane to Jota, so I feel your pain, bud. I could have just left it one more week, not taken the -4, got the 11 points from Kane, still maybe brought in Jota this week, had 2 free transfers. I mean, the story can continue and go on and on and on, couldn't it, really? But I got caught up in the thing of value. I saw Saka's price falling. I really wanted to get Salah in. There was just so many things happening during these quick turnarounds that made me to maybe do those moves. Right, now the chat's calmed down a bit. Let me see if I can help you out, Seth. If you're still in the stream. I'll have a little tinker outside of the stream first, and then see if we can do something. So I can't. What moves did you already make? If you're still in. So I'm not sure what you did already, Seth. Just so I can marry up your team. An injury to March or Matoma would make the weeks interesting. Hopefully not, but of course, cheeky captain on Joe Linton for 36 would be nice. Mate, what a differential he could be. Absolutely right. If March or Matoma do get injured, that's a good shout there, for sure. You calculated not captaining Haaland almost cost you about 75 points this season. That is just killer. You did Kane to Jota as well. I mean, Armin. What was we doing? I mean, I've said on the stream so many times, Kane is consistent. Don't sell him. And then I did it for a -4. Just stupid move. Gabriele, should I take a -8 to bring in a Kanji for Botman? No, I don't think so. I think that extra -4 doesn't make sense. Just Botman might have a ceiling of 6 points, but Akanji might get rotated and could also have a ceiling of 6 points if he only plays one game. So I don't think it's worth it. Junior Gaming only considering Kanate and Shaw over Trent and Ben White due to both doubling, and Trent would just get similar points to Kanate unless he gets an assist, which you feel is unlikely. I mean, I suppose that is a good point because of the extra fixtures. You haven't done any moves yet. Okay, let's have a look. Isak for Jota. No, you've got to keep Jota now. I think, Chris, if you've brought him in, you've got to roll with it. Mate, you sent me 3 teams on Twitter. Can I see them and tell me which one is best, please? I will have a look in a minute. I'm just going to help Seth first, Sport Cat, and we'll take a look hopefully before the deadline. 25 minutes. Yep, sound. You got 9 double game week players. You feel powerful. Likewise, my friend. Likewise. But it's probably going to be 10. Kepa to Ederson's probably coming in. Let's have a look. So, you've only got 1 free transfer, right? So, let's see what we can do here. I mean, you could do something like Watkins to Solanke with Chilwell to Trent, potentially. Not sure I like that, though. You've already got Triple City, so you can't bring in Alvarez, unfortunately. Just as a punt, maybe, for later on. You could do Martial. Okay, let's take this tab and put it into the stream. 1 second. This one. So, Seth, I'm just looking at this. I mean, what I've done, I have benched Isak here, so maybe it's not ideal. But the only way to get Trent in, I think, is by selling Chilwell, in my opinion. And if you sold Chilwell, you need to free up money. The only way you can free up money is maybe going for someone like Martial, Solanke, a cheaper option. You know, you could go even this, and then you just bench him. And if you prefer Isak over Martial, I don't know if Martial will start both games. I'm just using examples, I suppose, for you. It's a little bit difficult to maximise on the doublers at that price point. You haven't really got, because it's only United and City that have got those extra doubles, and there's no, you can't go Ferguson or any Brighton striker, right? So the only options really then are City and thing if you want to target double game weeks. So that's the way that I think I would play it for you. But yeah, not sure. Sportcat will check out the Twitter post in a minute from you, mate. Unicorn, should you bench Martinelli and field Estepinian? Yes, absolutely. I'll always back a double game weeker. Dan, you have got to captain either Salah or Rashford if you want to climb rank. Come on, give me some hope. It's not happening, mate. I've got to protect this 100k now. I can feel it slipping away as we get closer to the end. It's really painful. And I've got to captain the Norwegian, mate. Would I consider Kanate and Shaw in terms of that? I think I would, because you get the extra fixture. So yes, I do think that makes sense. Just this week specifically, though, I prefer Trent and White. You have the exact team like me. What am I planning to do with transfers? So I've already done Chilwell to Shaw. I'm looking at Kepa to Ederson as a -4. No worries, Seth. Hopefully that helped, my friend. I'm not. Have you already used any transfers, Shale? Or are these? It's literally, have you got free transfers now and you haven't done anything? You have an FPL group chat with your friends. You put a screenshot of your transfer, Kane to Jota, and got laughed at. Said, I have a vision. Talk to me after Wednesday. They certainly did. Mate, it's just banterable, isn't it, really? What a move. Schoolboy error. I'm with you, though, mate. I was surprised Isak didn't get that superb assist against Everton. Oh, mate, tell me about it. Absolutely incredible. It's your first time owning Ederson, so no bad blood. He actually scored well in UCL Fantasy and made a lot of saves against Bayern, probably more than in the last 15 Premiership games. But then that says a lot about what City's Premiership sort of prowess is, I suppose, right? They've got so dominant on the ball in terms of possession. They hardly ever concede any shots. And when they do, actually Ederson doesn't usually save them. But yeah, he did have a good game against Bayern, or good games against Bayern for sure. But let's see. I think he's worth it because of the doubles. You think Ederson is a must? Interesting. Hot take, Lookman. Hot take. Right, let's have a look on Twitter. Which one do I like most? I honestly think I prefer the one with Ederson in it, mate. So Ederson, Trent, Shaw, Dalot, Estepinian, Grealish, Rashford, Salah, March, Haaland and Jota. The 4-4-2. I think that's the one I prefer. I know you're not maximising your budget because there's one that you've got KDB in where you've got 0.1 in the bank, but I think honestly that's the one. Ederson is not a must. Don't get tunnel vision. And the debates continue. I think at the end of the day, because of the double game weeks, you can say that we get tunnel visioned with it, but I don't know. I'm just gonna disagree. I think those extra double game weeks for City and United. Don't know if I would go De Gea. Like I said, I think I prefer Shaw overall between now and the end of the season, but. Arman and Kane did get that assist against United. Yeah, he did. The shot, it hits obviously rebounded to Porro. It is a disgrace, mate. Absolutely. I think that FPL admins need to shape up on what confirmation they get in terms of assists and all the other drama that they've created this season. It's not been the best season for it. This week is really controversial when it comes to transfers. Absolutely, but that's what FPL's about. It's an opinion-based thing. There is no debate. You have Steele. Yeah, so that's the thing. I disagree. I do think there is a debate. I completely disagree. I think Steele is a rotation risk over Ederson, 100%. Like you cannot sit there and tell me that Jason Steele is going to start every game between now and game week 38. Whereas with Ederson, I'm confident that would happen. So I think essential is far from the truth, but a good pick. Yeah, essential maybe okay. Let's say, but he said is a must. I suppose it's the same thing. But I wouldn't necessarily say he's a must, but I like the fact that because there's an extra double game week, and in my opinion, he's more nailed than what Steele gets you. I just think Sanchez will get one of those fixtures, so there won't be that double. But who knows? Who knows? I could be wrong. But that's, again, what FPL's about, right? It's opinions. You like Martial. You think he will do Chilwell and Watkins to Trent and Martial. You might also go Ake to Dalot for a -8. Interesting. You're going to captain Rashford to try and gain rank in the final stretch. Seth, wow, it's so brave, mate. But Phil, mate, that is so brave. I understand the Ake to Dalot move because I think Ake's still out. He might play one game though, but I'm just not sure. Haaland should be 15 million next season, probably. Ortega is 30, so no young talent, but still plays well when he's needed. Not like they're to replace Ederson in the coming years. There was a debate you heard from City fans who want him out. Interesting. I think he's done well for City, to be honest. like you say. Would I do Henry to Shaw for a -8 or play Burn? Would I do Henry to Shaw for a -8 or play Burn? Well, Burn got rested midweek, didn't he? Because Target played. I think I would play Burn. It's a max 6 point ceiling. Maybe Shaw gets 8 points for an extra -4. I don't think that's worth mathematically. It's an opinion until after the game week where you dance atop the corpses of the managers you beat. Very true. Very true. Although I will say one thing, like in terms of the people that gloat about decisions. Right now, I'm not going to call out anybody, but on Twitter specifically, there are people that tweet against the official FPL tweets. So whenever you see a tweet that says goal Kane, assist Son, there will always be people that will say, I told you so. I told you that Kane was the best pick. I told you that Son was the best pick. No, mate, you didn't know. You didn't know it was going to happen. It's just an opinion. Like you said, until that result happens, it really pisses me off. It's a massive bugbear. Although I've probably done it myself, so... It is hard not to get excited when I suppose you've got stuff right, but it does annoy me that people tweet it anyway. If I go for 4-4-2 formation, you'll have 2.9 million in the bank. That is a lot of money, but it's a free hit. So I just think it doesn't really make it doesn't make much difference. I think it's just whatever scores you the most points or you think is going to score you the most points. But I did like the 4-4-2 personally overall. You think Ederson is a world-class keeper. He can't be replaced. He's better than Alisson. True. Is it really worth selling Kepa over Raya if in 37, 38 Ortega starts, then maybe even Mendy? At least Raya's nailed. Yeah, no, absolutely. This is why I'd sell Kepa over Raya. I'm going to keep Raya probably between now and the end of the season. Yeah, I see Armin's point, though. Honestly, Raya is fine to keep, even though he has hard fixtures and 0 doubles. He's still a bonus point magnet. He is, but oh my God, I just don't know if I can go without Ederson this week. And then the thing is that I would probably play Ederson between now. Well, I mean, let's look at the fixtures. I'm probably going to play Ederson then every week, right? There's no game here that I don't play him on. I know it's cut off, but it's Chelsea, Brighton and Brentford between 37 and 38. And it's a double in 37. Yeah. Yeah, I just think I'd play Ederson probably between now and the end of the season, have Raya as a backup. Honestly, I knew is more like a strong feeling than actually knowing. At least that's what you think when you read that. Yeah, I suppose. You have got a lot of data and research to back the decisions up, right? So when they go right, it's good. It's a good feeling to know, okay, my research and the data that I've read into paid off. But I just don't like it when it's maybe thrown in people's faces. You know, to be like, just listen to me, follow me, subscribe to me because I got this right. Like there's throughout the season, you'll probably have as many bad calls as you did good calls. It's just the way FPL works. It's a high pressured environment when you're sort of creating content, right? Like people will say you need to get everything right, but it's impossible. It's absolutely impossible. This is why we use the coin flip situation, right? I mean, FPL Seb's not in the stream now, but he didn't play John Stones against Arsenal at the beginning. He decided to do it because we did a Google coin flip. That just shows you how, I suppose, silly FPL can be in terms of choices and decisions. You believe Bruno Fernandes Hall is incoming this game week? He's due one, I must admit. He's looked very good. If you sell Raya, you won't have to look at the bench Hall versus Forest. Kepa definitely scored no points. Yeah, that's true. That is true. You hypocrite, Dan. You talked about triple captain Rashford for 3 weeks. Now, Jukes, those good to be proud of your picks. No, look, I mean, I didn't throw it in people's faces, though, I don't think. That's the point, Armin. And I used it in jest. The first week afterwards, I smiled about it because I was like, look, I maybe haven't got this right longer term. I'll wait for the other double game weeks. And then what ended up happening, Rashford went and scored 20 points, which was more than what I got from my triple captain, so... Honestly, guys, if I did that, if I tweeted out and said, listen to me, look at me, follow me, subscribe me to me because I got something right, call me out on it because I shouldn't be doing that. That's not what this channel is about. It's not what I'm about as a person. I just enjoy talking about FPL and I want to build a community that just I don't know, gets the best out of everything, I suppose, and can do, not gloat and sit there and be, Mr. Big I Am. Mr. Blanky, is that going to be my final team for 34? Final thoughts? It really is just the final thoughts for me are Kepa to Ederson for a -4 or bringing Raya in. I don't think there's any other moves that I do, right? It could just be this. If it is this, I don't think Botman comes in any way, shape or form. I don't think Henry comes in. Like, Watkins can't be played ahead of any of these, surely. Surely. So that's where I'm at. That is where I'm at. You did Ake Tadello for the -8. Seth, you're a brave, brave man. I hope it works out for you, pal. Even if I think Steele could be rotated, you think a situation where you can choose Ederson or Steele, only 1 week you would consider Ederson over him, which is 37. I mean, it is maybe closer than what I'm making out, but I do still think that De Zerbi can just change instantly. Who knows what Sanchez might do in training? What if Steele gets in? I mean, we could go down this. There's so many different routes, I suppose. But listen, good luck. Whatever choice, that's all I say is good luck to the choice. Forest have improved as well and could score, so Kepa out for me as well. Raya might be worth consideration versus Ederson in 36, maybe. But I think either way, I keep hold of Raya. I don't sell him. I sell Kepa. 10:51. Okay, 9 minutes, guys. 9 minutes. I think when you gloat, it has to be deliberately exaggerated so people know it's banter. Very true. And this is the thing. It's got to be contextualized, and obviously it's, that whole beauty is in the eye of the beholder thing. It depends on the person. Like, we obviously interpreted that I knew comment as slightly different. You took it as kind of like a strong feeling, whereas I took it as like kind of, okay, Mr. Big Head. Like, it's it's very difficult, and it's hard to, because there's no tone when you're reading a tweet. Obviously anything that's written, there's no tone, and tone is like predominantly the thing that we listen to when we hear someone talking, right? So I don't know. I'm no psychologist, but I still feel like gloating should not be done when it comes to FPL. It's not right. Would I start Eze over Watkins? I don't know. I took a punt on Eze on the free hit. He did have the goal disallowed. Gandhi kickoff time. I think I would. I think I trust United more than I trust West Ham to keep the clean sheet. So I think I would play Eze. Salah, KDB or Bruno? Who to bring in for long term? Long term? Probably Bruno long term, just because we've got the extra double. If I'm honest, Phoenix. I think the more you think of double game weeks and take hits, you forget about single weekers. In this case, people are forgetting about Solanke, Trippier, Isak. They are, absolutely. But, Trippier, I think, is going to be in most squads anyway, mate. He's so highly owned that it's Isak and Solanke and players like that are differentials. So final thoughts for you, bring in De Gea or Raya for Kepa? If you're going to bring in De Gea, you've got to sell Kepa, in my opinion. Don't sell Raya. It's between the two teams you said before in the chat. This is so close. Well, you've got 7 minutes to decide. You think the difference on our views of Steele Ederson is that I already have Steele? That's a good point. I suppose if you had Raya and Kepa, what would you do if we flip it? You're contemplating Ederson in for Raya for another -4. Talk me out of it. Don't take another -4 for that. Raya's a good goalkeeper. Forget it, Tanoki says. Forget it. Could a Kanji be an option? I'm not sure that he gets the full minutes though, right? This is the thing. The rotation at City just makes me really nervous about advising it. Can you do a poll? You said the two teams in the chat. I can't see the two teams in the chat. Your mind is leaning towards the 4-5-1 formation with Steele. Forest aren't that good away from home. Hold Raya for this week, everyone. Yeah, I don't think he's worth the -4, honestly. If you're not changing anything, our team differences is only Kane. You can't go without Kane. I said the same thing and then I fucking sold him for a -4 last week. Tony versus Isak just for 34. Who am I going? Tony versus Isak just for 34. I think I'd go Isak just because Newcastle are scoring more goals at the moment. I do like both picks for sure, but I think for this week I'd go Isak. Is it worth doubling up on Newcastle defence? So Burn and Trippier, or bench Burn and play Ben Me, and then it will be double Brentford with Raya and me. No, I think I prefer double Newcastle. Raya it is. Well done, Seth. Well done, mate. You've survived. Is Henry to Stones, Saka to Salah, and Kane to Greenwood for a -4 worth it? Henry to Stones, Saka to Salah. Look, I think as long as you approach it that Stones could be rotated, then I think that's fine. Saka to Salah, I like in its isolation. Henry to Stones, if you can afford both those moves, I like it. If you had Raya and Kepa, one extra Brighton slot, you would get Still. If you had Dunk, Estu, then Ederson. Okay, so there we go. That's, I suppose, the scenario, isn't it? That you agree that Ederson in my situation works, and many others, because a lot of people do have Estepinian. You honestly love that Kane is a differential, 54% ownership and likely to fall this week. Yeah, he's definitely going to be lower than that. Right, 4 minutes. I think I'm doing it. Because I just can't see any other world where I keep this fucking Chelsea goalkeeper. Get out of my team. Done. Save. Captain on the Norwegian. Vice on Salah. Ederson's done. Transfers update. Boom. Another -4. And I said to everybody last week, I won't take a -4 this week. I'm going to not take a hit. I'm going to be hitless because everybody else is going to take a hit and I'm going to get those 4 points back that I spent last week. And I've gone back on it. Double standards. Double standards. You've got 3 minutes, Sportcat. I don't think there's enough time for a poll. If I'm honest, why can't you play a 2-5-3? Yeah, it's a bit of a frustration. I'd love to do that as well. Come on, Dan. Jota made sense at the time. Everyone makes mistakes from time to time. What were we thinking? Oh, my God. You would agree your disagreement was only the idea that Ederson was essential. True. Okay. We'll draw a line in the sand on that point. Ederson is in as well for me. Jan Aigner, welcome to the club. Another hit, man. Another hit. 3 minutes and then undecided. Do the coin flip then. Coin flip, just do team 1 and team 2. Okay. Team 1, team 2, coin flip. It does it automatically. So team 1's going to be heads. Team 2 is going to be tails. Team 1 it is. There you go. There was no difference, really. It landed on heads the first time when I loaded it up. Team 1, mate. Me, on the other hand, between 33 and 34 was thinking of 0 hits. Now you took a -8. Yeah, well, welcome to the club, my friends. I think we've all just had to adapt, right? There's been a bit of FOMO, 100%. Like maybe without Trent and Robertson, maybe I could feel a bit more damage this week. But I'm happy. I think I'm happy with the team. Ederson 100% bench for West Ham. They have a Real Madrid in 5 days after that. You think so? I'm not sure. Please don't say that, Armin. I've literally just said how he's never rotated. And if he does, that's so frustrating. But hey-ho. You would say for many teams, you feel that many people quite properly transitioned out of the bench boost. Very true. Yeah. Maybe the planning wasn't right there. 1 minute to deadline, guys. Get everything locked in. Get everything locked in. Get everything locked in. Captains, bench orders, all those things. All those juicy things. 18 viewers. I'm going to do a first plug of the stream. Look, it's been streaming for an hour. If you haven't yet, if I did help you in any way, or you just enjoyed the stream in general, right? Please consider subscribing. It would be absolutely wonderful to have you on board. Think we might be locked, guys. Think we might be locked. Boom. Game week 34. Let's have it. Took a -4 again, boys. Is that going to be the last hit of the season? Maybe. Am I going to finish in the top 100k? Maybe. That was the aim. Let's see. But good luck to everybody. Good luck. I'm going to... Sportcat, did you get everything locked in, bud? Did you get the team right? Because you said you made mistakes last week, which is never good. Which is never good. Right. Give me a sec, guys. What moves did I do in the end? Chilwell to Shaw. Epper to Edison. Get the team on screen so people can see. Haaland captain. You've panicked so much. No, you didn't make it in time. Oh, my God. Bad. Bad. Can't wait for Edison to concede one goal after getting 5 goals up both games. Don't do it to me. Don't do it to me. Oh, my God. Sportcat, absolute howler. Play FPL next season. May give up for the rest of the season. Bud, what did you do? What did you do? What transfers did you do in the end? What team have you ended up on, mate? So I mean, don't rely on this because the channel chat moves so quickly that just it's. Yeah, my comment screen wasn't moving because I screwed it up. I didn't go back onto the tab. You still have a decent team. Still Trent, Dallo, Wan-Bissaka, Ake. I guess that's meant to be Estepinian, KDB, March, Grealish, Rashford, Jota, Haaland. Thoughts. It's not bad. Like you've managed to sort of recover to some degree, but who have you missed? Who have you missed? Biggest lies of FPL is this wild card sets me up so I don't have to take hits. Oh my God, that is so true. That is the lie. That is the biggest FPL lie. Sorry, mate, not blaming. No. I'm not saying that you're blaming me, but just in general, don't rely on that right up until the last minute. Just make the decisions. You're always too late to join me. Well, we're locked in, Patrick, but it's fine, my friend. Love to have you here, even for the last 10 minutes. All good. All good. Oh my God. Well, thanks for keeping the stream alive, guys. Happy days. It really is. Oops. Messed up the chat. Whoops. We're back. You missed Grealish. That's the only player. I don't think Grealish is essential, though, mate. To be honest, out of the free hit, I think you're okay there. As Tanoki said, you don't rate him personally. If FPL for future moves, who on your team is in the chopping block? For me, what's Grealish's ownership? I'm not sure, Max, because obviously the website's down now. For future moves, who's on the chopping block for me? Watkins. Watkins is probably going to become Isak or Wilson. I think it's probably going to be Isak because Wilson. It's just the double game week though is tempting, but we've seen that there's rotation with the double game weeks. So maybe I take a punt with if there's rotation starting with Grealish because Foden's back. Maybe I go something like Grealish to Joe Linton for a differential. I think Jan Agner mentioned him earlier, and I definitely think he could be one to go for. Because there's a lot of people now on Isak, right? So they're not going to sell him ahead of double 36. So I think Watkins and Grealish are definitely ones for this team for me to watch. Other than that, I'm not sure I want to get rid of anybody else. Jota, maybe. That was a bit short-term. Bit short-sighted from me on that point, so maybe I get rid of him. Maybe I go someone like Jesus for the last 2 game weeks of the season. I mean, I'll debate different bits and pieces, and I'll plan for where I think I'm going to go. But I think between those 3, Watkins, Jota, and Grealish are probably the weakest assets I've got in this squad now. Not for this week specifically, just longer term because of fixtures and rotation. Grealish is currently 16% owned and probably about 30% in the top 100k. Yeah. You swapped Trippier for Stones. I mean, look, there's been many people that have got away with the fact that Trippier has not got an attacking return after Newcastle have scored 10 goals. And of course, the clean sheets have been wiped out. So I don't really hate selling him, but I'm just ahead of game week 36's double, Patrick. I'm not sure. You have to recalculate the number of moves, but if you have the transfers to get 11 or optimal number of double game week players in, you're thinking of going to Greenwood. I can get on board with that. I think if you're freeing up enough money, I suppose we could have a little play. Before we go. So game week 34, I've now done this. So this is the team as of now. If we go into 35, bit of a headache here between Watkins and Jota. Don't think I'd get rid of Trippier. I'll still play him against Arsenal at home. I don't think there's anything there. Maybe I roll into 36. Maybe I do something like that, depending on form, depending on Jota. Maybe he gets limited minutes, injury, whatever happens. And then here, this is where it's interesting because of the doubles again, right? I'm going to definitely play triple Brighton. Definitely going to play my double Newcastle defenders. This is where it's like, okay, so if we have... It's a bit of a rubbish move, but if we did this to keep Shaw on here because we've got 3 double game weekers, maybe we'd do something like... We could do Grealish out to Joe Linton as a differential, right? That could be one route. Let's just plan it out. We don't even need to do anything else. We don't even need to do anything else here. Let me go back to the chat. Okay, no movements. We're all good. At this point, we wouldn't even need to do anything. The alternative is, of course, we keep Grealish. Maybe we bench him. Again, dependent on Jota's situation. I've got 3 options here. I could just do Isak or Wilson. So then I'll have 2 moves for 37, which could be massive. So let's just roll with this. Again, bench headaches. Bit of a frustration. But the doubling, look, there's so many double game weekers across all of this. And now I've got 2 free transfers here. And maybe Grealish comes out now. Maybe Alvarez goes in for a punt for the double game week. There's options. But I think 36 will be pivotal for where I decide to go, whether it's Isak or Joe Linton, to be honest. I think that's the 2 options. But again, that's 2 game weeks away. So I think 35 is probably going to be a roll because I've just got enough coverage in Watkins and Jota can come in. If there's injuries, okay, fine. There might be a few different changes, but I'm hoping between now and 38 we don't need to do any hits. But that's where we're at. Kane, Dan. Patrick's saying Kane. Maybe I'll bring him in. You checked FPL Gameweek. Grealish is 44% owned in the top 100k. Damn, son. It's a high ownership in the top 100k. You was tempted to play Share over Trippier, but you're happy just for 36 to have Share. Yeah, I agree. Danny's worried about Haaland. He's not scoring hat-tricks, so Dan will do Haaland to Greenwood. Could you imagine? What a schoolboy. Ahead of 2 double game weeks. No, thank you. I haven't owned Trippier since game week 28 or 29, and you've survived barely so far. Well, this is what I'm saying about, like, when your luck's in, right? Sportcat, what rank are you placed? I'm not sure where he is, but I think he's quite high, like 700k-ish, something like that. Seb, while you predict many more hits and much more carnage between now and the end of the season as endless double game week fever wreaks havoc upon FPL, yes, I'm here for it. Me and you both, mate. I love what type of chaos this creates. But again, I think maybe this is a little bit of lack of experience for me. I say lack of experience. I've played the game for 5 years, but I haven't played it seriously for 5 years. I think this is where, like, maybe I start getting a bit twitchy and I need to calm down a bit with the hits. Game week 38 punt could be Harry Kane and Martinelli if you're selling Mo in 37. Could be. Someone clip this. He's 100% going to roll in game week 35. Imagine that I take a -8 or something stupid. Nah, I honestly think I'm going to roll. It just depends. It just depends on injuries. That's the only thing that can change that. Unless you rolled 4 more transfers from now until 38, indeed. What's the planner you use? A lot of them are down. I use Plan FPL. .com. Bowen and Solanke are on your watch list. Bowen I can probably get behind. Solanke? I mean, Bournemouth, they've started to just show that thing of we're going to be safe this season now, haven't they, really? So maybe he gets involved in a bit more. You hope this week finally gets you into the weekly videos where I talk about the mini-league. Indeed. There's been a lot of movement in the mini league recently. There's been a lot of different people coming in and out of it. And if any of you don't already or haven't already joined, then please feel free to. As mentioned in my team selection video, though, there was a guy called Lewis Conley that joined, I think, last game week. I only saw him mention what was the prize in the live chat. So, yes, there will be a prize for people in this mini league, but not if you only just join now. It's going to be for the next year. But if you want to join the mini league just for a bit of fun, then feel free to do it. How many hits did I take? Just one. Just one. -4 for me. You use live FPL, which is all down, but you can't change to a new one because they can't draw my team. Yeah, no, that's true, but you can kind of manually adjust the team though, right? Even if you put the ID in, it won't put your actual team in. The money might be slightly off though. Sometimes that happens. Kane, Son versus Leeds, Liverpool attacker versus Southampton could be great, 38 punts. Arsenal versus Wolves, that's why I mentioned Jesus. Or a mad one, DCL versus Bournemouth. I don't think I'm ever going to go there. I think there was 1 week where I mentioned him as a possible differential on a watch list, and my cousin went and put him in his team. That was like the worst advice I've probably given this season. I got a green arrow in every league except my league. Shows the quality of it, and your own advice is backfiring, Dan. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to win my own mini league, I suppose. So you could say it's backfiring, but it's definitely helping helping someone get crowned the victor, right? But yeah, I like I say, I think that this last week was a bit of a killer. I'm hoping to get back on track over these next few weeks. But all things considered, pre-World Cup, guys, I was 1.5 million. Like to have recovered to this point and to have got, I mean, the highest I've been so far, I think, is, I can't look at Gameweek history now. I think I was in the 50-ish K, 60 something K mark. I don't think 50k is out of reach for me still, but it's going to be tough. It's going to need no more hits, right? We hashtag or clip that. But listen, guys, I think I'm going to call it there. 15 minutes over. Thank you to anybody that stuck around that's a new subscriber, by the way. I can see that there was a few that joined the channel, so thank you very much for that. Haven't quite reached the goal of 700 by the end of April, but we were very, very close. Of course, turnaround-wise, we're back to normality. So next week is a long weekend here in the UK. I've got a bank holiday. Don't know if that is across the international waters, but if it is a long weekend for yourselves, then enjoy it. Enjoy the games. I hope everything works out for the moves you've made. I will be doing a team selection, as always. Might do an extra video as well, a bit of a bonus video next week, just because I've got that extra day. But yeah, thanks very much for tuning in. It was a good stream today. You was 1.8 million pre-World Cup. Madness, isn't it? Madness. Further ahead than you, but only because of a few decisions, Tanoki. You've been definitely catching up and doing well, my friend. So keep that up. Keep that up. But like I say, thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Been an absolute pleasure as always. I'll see you in a stream next week, of course, and hopefully a video very, very soon. Take care. Thanks for watching.